following segment sponsored by Jim Williams and Associates.
We are here on location at the Kingsport office of Jim Williams and Associates, talking today about family law. We are here with Jim Williams, and first of all, thank you so much for having us out today.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, family law covers a lot of different areas. Let's kind of start there with some of the things that you think about when we're thinking family law.
Okay. Well, family law basically deals with the relationships between people who are married or related in some way. Could be members of the same household, could not be. And it covers a broad area of topics, divorce, child custody are two of the most common. Unfortunately, about half of the marriages in the U.S. end in divorce, so there's a great demand for divorce and family lawyers. And coming along with that would be child custody matters and child support. And that's true for people that are getting a divorce or people that have had children when they're not married. Many times you have fathers who need to establish their parental rights and mothers who want to get child support for those children. So divorce and child custody are really the two most common reasons that people seek out a family lawyer.
And you can see there's a lot of different layers when it comes to those things, a long process for that. Are there other things that you also work with when it comes to, I think we normally think of divorce and family issues and custody, but there's some other areas that you also work in?
Yes, some may be on a happier note, things like adoptions, people who wanting to adopt a child. Sometimes it's a child of a family member who can no longer care for that child, or it may be a non-family member. So adoptions are much happier than divorce and custody. Also guardianships, there are people who they're not ready to adopt, but they do want to care for a child, so they'll enter into a guardianship to where they have legal custody of the child, where they can still care for the child's education and medical needs and things like that. So those are the more happier type things that we deal with.
And certainly covering a lot of different ground there. Are there times when people may represent themselves if they're, you know, you hear a lot about we've been able to work everything out, very amicable. Sounds like sometimes people might think that I could probably handle that part of it.
Sure, absolutely. And an individual can always represent themselves in a proceeding at any time. They have the right to do that, whether it's in court or out of court. The problem we find in most of these cases is when people self-represent, you've heard the saying, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And many times they really don't know what they need to be looking at, asking for. They really don't know what the fair share of something is. And they navigate those waters by themselves. And the problem we see is after they've signed agreements and have gotten their divorce or custody agreement in place, they take it home and they start looking at it, or they start having issues, and so they come to an attorney to fix those issues. And sometimes you can't fix those. They're in stone, basically. They're signed off by a judge and they're a court order. And unless you have some sort of material change of circumstance, it's hard to change those orders. So when people navigate those waters, they're basically, taking a risk that they're going to come out with a result that's not as good as if they had an attorney representing them. Most family law cases do not make it in front of a judge. Some do, and those that do, those are the ones that you really need an attorney there for you.
I feel like family law is very personal, a lot of emotion when you're dealing with families in these situations. You must really get to know your clients and their situations pretty well.
You get to know a lot about your clients because they're here to tell you about their story. They want to tell their story, and there's a lot of emotion. It's probably the most emotional area of law we deal with is family law, and that's part of the problem that people have who represent themselves. They're representing themselves based on their emotions, not on facts, and an attorney can be objective and not have that emotion tied to the advice that they're giving. So that's a very important reason to hire an attorney, is you want someone who's not emotionally involved in your case, or at least not as much as you are.
Yeah, certainly important information. Anything else that someone should consider if they're about to go through something like this when reaching out to a family law attorney?
Well, first and foremost is consult early. As soon as you know you have an issue or a problem, consult with an attorney. And when you consult with your attorney, you need to interview that attorney. You need to find out, has he or she handled family law cases? If you go to an attorney who's an estate planning attorney, example only, has never done a divorce, and you hire that person to get you through, then you're probably not going to get the same result as an attorney who's handled 1,000 divorces.
Yeah.
So you want to interview the attorney, find out what their level of experience is, if they're familiar with the courts and that your case will be before. So consult early and often. And you don't have to hire the first person you consult with. Consult with as many as you need till you find someone that is a good fit for you.
Yeah, these are really important, especially when you have kids involved. These processes can mean a great deal.
They can, and children are typically the most important thing in these cases. It's not assets.
If you would like to learn more, of course, you can visit them. They have offices in both Kingsport and Rogersville, also licensed in Virginia and Tennessee. You can check out their website for more information. It's right there on your screen. That's tnvaattorney.com. It's Jim Williams and Associates, Attorneys at Law.
The preceding segment sponsored by Jim Williams and Associates.